Basically, all across much of the America's major cities, you're hearing reports of spikes in cases. But typically, what you don't hear of also on the media is, of course, articles like this one. For many people, I see many of them every single day, as there's a city MD located not too far from where I get off in the morning, where I get off the bus when I come home from work. And so I see typically a line of individuals, perhaps on their day off, outside of the city MD to, of course, get tested via a rapid test. And in fact, most of the tests that are being done nowadays are typically done via rapid test. If there are tests that are done perhaps at your local doctor, or if it's like at a city MD or whatever, your kind of chain medical facility in your city is called, typically are using tests like this. And so typically what you don't hear about are these high numbers of false positives. I've said it numerous times, and every time I get the same argument, as if false positives are like something they're so inconsequential that they're not even worth mentioning. That sure, there might be, no test is of course 100% accurate, and they imagine that the number of false positives are so small that they're just not even worth discussing. And of course, this article goes on to talk about NFL has 77 apparently false positive tests. And of course, these are coming out from a New Jersey lab. This is as of August, as of August 26th that this article came out. And then of course, it goes on to say that the NFL had 77 positive tests from 11 different teams re-examined by a New Jersey lab after false positives. And it says and all those tests came back negative. The league asked New Jersey lab BioReference to investigate the results, and those 77 tests are being retested once more to make sure that they were false positives. And if you just Google, I think on another, what was it that I posted about? I think it was Penn State, right? Because this is not an isolated incident, right? So Penn State also had this exact same problem, and their local newspaper called the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette also, of course, verifying this very same thing, right? Penn State has dealt with high numbers of false positive virus tests. So this is by no means something that, of course, is not new. And for a lot of people who are thinking, well, the vaccine is coming out and that things are just going to get back to normal, Dr. Fauci has another revelation for many of you people, where Dr. Fauci in this article, right, this is dated as of December 12th. I posted this on my Twitter. This is White House infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci has previously said that at least 75% of the American population should be vaccinated before, as he states, some semblance of normal life to return. So for a lot of people who imagine that they're like, let's just take the vaccine, let's just get it over with, and things will go right back to normal, it's not going to happen. In fact, Dr. Fauci has also stated that even if you take the vaccine, that you still have to practice social distancing, you still have to practice wearing a mask, even if you are vaccinated against the virus. So many people ask, well, what's the point of taking the vaccine if I still have to wear a mask and social distance? I'll be doing that if I don't. And it has nothing to do with, of course, the virus or the vaccine. It's really about taking control. And these are the subtle steps. And of course, I've shown in other articles where Democrats are leaning towards offering stimulus, right? A lot of people haven't gotten a stimulus check. People keep asking, are we going to get, a second or whatever is a third round of stimulus checks? And of course, that has been, currently the talks have been halted. Hopefully they will come out with something for the people. A lot of small businesses are suffering. A lot of Americans are suffering. And they're toying around, that's what they do. They kind of sprinkle it out into the media to see how people will react to it, of offering $1,500 for people to take the vaccine. They've already done this in third world countries, like in places like in Africa or other third world areas that are suffering with food shortages. And so what the government has done is they've said, we'll give you food if you take the vaccine. So you have these people who are literally starving and they're negotiating, well, if you take the vaccine, well, then we'll give you some food so that you can live for tomorrow. And I find this to be irreprehensible that countries actually do this. But this is where we are at. This is where we're at. And for people who just want to keep on complying, that everything will go back to normal, they're like hoping and praying that if I just do this one more thing, that everything will go back and I'll have my life like it was. I'll be able to go out and socialize. I'll be able to enjoy myself. I won't have people telling me how many people I can have over for Christmas, how many people I can have over for Thanksgiving, whether I can dine in or dine out, etc. Right? And people keep thinking, if I just do this one more thing, everything will be okay. And then they realize that that isn't the case. And it won't be the case. If you imagine that by taking the vaccine, that things will go back to normal, you will be in for a rude awakening. Things will not go back to normal. Things will go back to normal when people demand that they go back to normal, not when they keep conceding. We all learn this going to school. If you've never dealt with a bully, this is the reality. That bullies don't give up. If I just give him my lunch money today, he'll leave me alone for the rest of my life. No, it doesn't work that way. It never worked that way. If you imagine that if you concede to just this one more thing, it will not go away. I promise you that it will not go away.